Okay, so we're going to do 7 tips for taking great photos with your phone, and then I'm going to give you my 5 don'ts for corporate social media pictures. Okay? All right, so step 1, get closer. Okay, so I was a reporter back in the day at the Raleigh News and Observer in North Carolina, where I was a reporter right in that period where we were switching from film to digital photography, right? And I remember a certain point at which there were not enough staff photographers to go on all the assignments. And so the reporters were told, if you just need a headshot of somebody, here's a point and shoot camera. Take it yourself. So our photo editor at the time gave us like a crash course. And his tip was get as close as you think you need to get to the person who you're taking the picture of, and then take 2 steps forward. And it is a great rule of thumb. I use it all the time because you get as close as you think you need to be, and the honest truth is you could be closer and it will be a better picture, right? So get however close you want to get and then get 2 steps closer, right? It's a great rule of thumb. If you think you're going to need a kind of a distance shot and a close-up shot, take them both. Don't rely on taking the far away shot and then zooming in, right? Because that results in pixelation and all kinds of things, right? So if you think you're going to need both, or you're not sure what you're going to need, take them both, right? And remember that if you zoom in on your camera to take the picture, you're going to have problems with pixelation if you get back to your desk and you want to zoom in further or crop it, right? So it's not a best practice to zoom really close on your phone and then take the picture, because you really can't do anything additional with that image because it's too zoomed in, right? It makes more sense to take a good solid picture from the appropriate distance to start with, right? So that's tip number 1, get closer. Tip number 2, you must take both vertical and horizontal. Now, there are times when a photo or the subject of the photo is just going to naturally lean horizontal or vertical. So these are pictures that I took on a trip to Vietnam, which was an amazing trip. You know, I don't know what to call it. The tower is obviously pretty vertical, right? And then the picture of the guy sitting on the stoop, you know, that's pretty horizontal in orientation. So there are times when you take a picture and you're like, yep, that's a vertical photo. Can't really do much about it, right? But then a lot of the time there will be, it'll be more ambiguous, right? And so if you're in those cases, take both pictures. Take a horizontal and a vertical picture, just so that you've covered your bases, right? It's really, really, really important, especially the way that the platforms change everything on, as my friend Melanie says, every day that ends with a Y. Meta's going to change something every single day that ends with a Y. And I don't know about you guys, but I have had the experience of opening something up and being like, oh, well, that looks different, right? Anybody open up Instagram and notice like it's not squares anymore, right? Like they just change things like that. And so you have to be prepared to adapt to whatever the platforms do to you, right? And so take horizontal and vertical, and that way you've got both, right? If Instagram suddenly needs to be 4:5, then you've got a vertical shot that you can use, right? If they go back to squares, then you might want the horizontal shot, right? But you never know what they're going to do, so it's better to have all your bases covered. So number 2, when appropriate, take both horizontal and vertical so that you're covered. Okay, number 3, take lots and lots of pictures. So I am a Francophile. I want to live in France someday. I love France. And so this is one of our trips to the Eiffel Tower. And you'll notice I didn't just take one picture of the Eiffel Tower. I took tons of pictures of the Eiffel Tower. Like, this is just a screenshot of some of the pictures I took. I took them from all kinds of angles. I took them from below. I took them from up top, right? You want to make sure you take a lot of pictures because you have to think. Professional photographers, like newspaper photographers, they take hundreds of pictures to get to the one that runs in the newspaper, right? And if that's what professional photographers have to do, I don't think I'm better than a professional photographer, right? So my odds of taking one single picture and having it be the picture, pretty low, right? And so you have to cover your bases, you know, you have to take all the different pictures that you think you could take. You know, when I was working in newspapers, someone would take 600 pictures in a photo shoot to get the one that runs in the newspaper, right? So I don't think that I'm better than a professional photographer. I need to take a lot of pictures to get the one, right? So you have to remember that when you're out there, right? That notion of just shoot a couple pictures for social is not really what you need to do. You need to shoot a lot of pictures to come up with 2 or 3 to send to the social team, right? And you can always go and delete them off your phone after you're done, right? It's not that these things have to sit on your camera roll forever, but take the pictures, because most of the time you're at an event and you can't go back and redo the event to get another photo op, right? So take tons and tons and tons of pictures. If you're doing something that's like an active live thing, like a sports event, most cell phone cameras allow you to mash the shutter button, even though there's no shutter button. You can hold down the button to take a picture, basically, and it will burst. It will give you a series of pictures all at once. And that's a great way to do something if you're shooting live action, because that way you get options and you kind of, like, let's take, for example, somebody, making a goal in soccer, right? If you mash the button, you can get that burst of pictures and then see which one looks the best, right? Make sense? All right, number 4. Find a unique point of view. So this statue is called Cupid's Span. It's out in San Francisco. It's really cool. It's very big. And this is a Google image. If you Google Cupid's Span, this is what you get. You get like 1,200 of this picture, right? This is the picture that I took when I was in San Francisco, right? Especially when you're taking pictures of something that's a stationary object. Cupid's Span, the Eiffel Tower, right? Try to come up with an interesting point of view. Try to come up with a different angle. Get down low, get up high. I remember once I was doing a story about when Kmart started doing layaway for holiday shopping, and we were in the back room of a Kmart where all the layaway stuff was stored, and the photographer that I was with, like, literally climbed up on the shelving, got up on one of the shelves, and then turned around and took the picture looking out at the store, right? I would have never in a million billion years thought of that, right? But this is what professional photographers do. They're constantly lying on the ground or getting up on the stairs or whatever. You need to model that approach, right? The whole goal, again, when you think about the Statue of Liberty and the cute puppies, right? The whole goal here is to find something that is visually interesting enough to stop the person from scrolling. And a unique point of view can really do a lot for you, right? Make sense? Maybe not in a wastewater treatment plant, but, in other circumstances. Okay, number 5, and this is really pertinent to those of you who are communicators. Take photos with the intent of telling stories, right? So this is my famous butternut squash soup. If I were trying to tell a visual story of how this soup is prepared, I would need to think about a lot of things, right? Do I need a picture that is just a wide picture of my kitchen? Here's where I'm cooking. Do I need a picture of all the ingredients that you need assembled? Do I need a picture of this specific step to show how I do it? Do I need a picture of the finished product, right? Do I need a picture of somebody eating a bowl of soup to kind of be the end, right? Think beginning, middle, end. Think about steps that you need to document. Think about telling the story from start to finish, right? But doing it with visuals, right? So if you go into an event and you're thinking, I want to tell this story, you can almost develop like a shot list, right? You can say, I need this, 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 and this. And I need a big wide shot, and I need a shot of the outside of the building, and then I need an end shot of somebody eating soup, right? If you can get that in your head ahead of time, then you make sure that you get all those shots as you're going along, right? It's the same as working with a photographer where you give them a shot list. You're just serving the role as the photographer, right? But think about storytelling. It's awful to get back to your desk and go, oh, we didn't get a picture of that, right? Because you can't go back most of the time. So when you're going into an event where you've been asked to take pictures, think about it like a story. And if you want an example, Patagonia does a fantastic job of this, both on their social and their website, of taking images and really telling a story with it. It's amazing. And yes, happy to share the butternut squash soup recipe. Tip number 6, turn the flash off. Turn the flash off. This is my favorite band, Trampled by Turtles. They are here in Minnesota. But, you know, if you're at a concert, if you're at a press event, if you're at a news conference, right? These are all events that happen with someone on stage, and on stage has been lit by like actual professional lights, right? You are not going to do better than the professionals. And you have to remember that when you use the flash on your camera, the goal of the flash is to illuminate what is directly in front of your camera. And so what you usually end up with is a very lovely picture of the back of the head of the person in front of you, right? Not really great for social. So, you know, or you'll stand in the back of the room and take the picture of the stage up front. And it's like, well, your flash will not reach that far, right? So it's kind of pointless to have it on. You want to turn your flash off and let the professional lighting people do their jobs, right? When should you use a flash? TBT. You should use the flash when you're trying to illuminate something that is very close in front of your camera, right? So in this case with my mug, right, I wanted to make that look brighter. I wanted to get rid of the shadows, and that's a perfect reason to use a flash, right? But if you're in a crowd at an event and you're shooting somebody on a stage, please turn your flash off. I keep the flash off on my camera like 98% of the time, because it just isn't useful in most cases, right? And of course, take it with flash and without flash if you're not sure what you need. Make sense? Okay, finally, the rule of thirds. So some of you may be familiar with the rule of thirds. It's actually like a super old school photo like technique, if you will, right? But basically, the rule of thirds is this. If you were to divide your camera screen into a 9 grid, right? If you were to overlay this 9-box grid on your phone, and by the way, most phones, including iPhones, have a setting that you can turn on that actually puts this grid on your screen. If you had this grid, the focal point of your picture should be at one of the intersections of the lines, right? And if you look at great photography, right, if you look at National Geographic or other publications that have super great photography, you'll notice if you start paying attention that many great photos adhere to this principle, right? It just is naturally how your eye kind of digests a picture. And if you put your focal point, your subject, at one of these crosshairs, for some reason, it makes a better photo composition-wise, right? So you can absolutely turn this on your camera and just have it and keep that rule of thirds in mind. Make sense?